Houston,
back
Yair
up because we
Diaz.
are not going to finish this game. But we'll just finish talking. I'm going to quit out. Uh, so yeah, I just gotta get it done. Um, let's actually take a look right now. You won't be able to see this, but we're gonna look at my trophies for Assassin's Creed. So we've gotten 44 out of 55 trophies. It's really 44 out of 54 that I need to get because the 55th one's getting all the trophies. So I need 10 more trophies. And I'm just going through this real quick. So Master of the Way Shinobi, that's one of the skill trees I have to finish. Master of the Way Samurai, one of the skill trees I need to finish. Fully upgrade tools and ammunition, one of the skill trees. Fully upgraded rations. What was it? Oh, I think I need to build a building, and to do that, I need to finish the collection quest, which sucks. The collection quests are so bad in this. Escape conflict by using a breathing reed to hide in shallow water. Um, yeah, yeah, I keep forgetting that this is a feature of this game. I've never used it. I keep forgetting it's a feature of the game. And I gotta be honest, I don't even know how to do it. I think I have it unlocked, but I have to assassinate a powerful guardian in one go. I don't even really know what that means. I'm guessing it's a one-shot assassination, but unstoppable. Use Samurai Stand before performing finisher on an enemy. I haven't even unlocked Samurai Stand yet. That's another assassination group I have to finish. Perform a finisher on an enemy that is both poisoned and dazed. I gotta figure out how to do that. Uh, I know how to do it. Some weapons cause dazing, some cause poison, and then I gotta perform finisher. Um, so I just gotta set up the right weapons using both. Sheath your weapon immediately after an enemy dies from bleed. So I gotta figure out how to do that. But that shouldn't be too hard. Complete all legendary sumi. Basically, it's those paintings. I've done two of them. The problem with it is there's five of them total. You get one that you can find at any time, just at night, any time of the year, any season. But then the other four, you have one for summer, one for winter, one for fall, one for spring. And since you can't really fast forward seasons, there, well, I shouldn't say you can't fast forward seasons. There's a when you pause a menu, I don't get this. When you pause menu, there's a button that says like advanced season or something, but it's always grayed out, and I don't know how I get it to where that's not. And let's see, and that's it. I mean, that's all I got to do. So it's a couple combat trophies, and then just upgrading gear. So I'm close. I just gotta get the motivation to kill these random people that I don't even know why I'm trying to kill, to be honest. And I'm sure they told me at some point, but it's just it's usually things that you pick up and read, and I have to admit I haven't been very good about reading things, and I'm usually really really good about that. I like reading this stuff. It kind of gives a backstory and lore, but in this game, the side stuff is just so boring that I don't care about reading it, so I'm just kind of closing it out and not reading it, and then I'll bring up my objectives, my uh, my quest map that they have in Assassin's Creed, and all of a sudden there's a new group I got to kill, or I ended up killing some enemy that was part of a group, and I have no idea why I was killing him. It just, I was in a castle and he was there, and so all of a sudden there's another group, and it's just so disjointed. It's so badly structured because Ubisoft does not do non-linear stories well. They need to stop trying because they are not good at it. And I don't want to fully blame Ubisoft because non-linear stories are tough, but I think the only way you can really do nonlinear stories is still have some kind of linearity to them. You can't make it completely open because when it got good, you had I think it was 10 members of the the main group you're trying to assassinate. I can't remember the name, Shimbakfu or something like that. The first eight people you could kill in any order, but then it made you kill one before you killed the final guy. And so when it got to be linear, it got good again. And nonlinear stories are good, but you still need some linearity. So you had 10 people to kill in that group. I mean, yeah, if you want nonlinear, do it in groups of three or something, or four groups of two that you can pick in any order. But that would help the story structure. But since they just do all eight, it just becomes a unorganized mess, and it's very hard to follow and it's very hard to get invested because it struggles to gain momentum. And that's a big problem with side content. And it was a big problem with side content in Mirage. And weirdly enough, it makes me appreciate the side content in Valhalla because they just didn't even try to give it a story in Valhalla. It was just these little world events and stuff like that. And if you're going to do a non-linear story, that's kind of the way to do it, which sucks because it's not good either. But I do think I have, even though it's not a huge appreciation, I have developed more of appreciation for the side content in Valhalla. But yes, either way, I think we're done. We'll be done with Shadows by the end of the weekend. And I will probably save because I want to stream just getting the platinum trophy. Um, and I think I'm going to save the last uh, Sumai drawing or however you pronounce it for the platinum trophy. And best way to do that is to probably save the one that I can do at any season. Um, yep. So just got to figure out how to handle the platinum or the combat trophies. But yeah, we'll figure that out. And then I haven't touched it since the first night streamed, but I'm still doing control. I gotta admit, um, when I was originally done with Assassin's Creed Shadows, when I finished the main story, I was like, all right, I'm gonna finish this game, get the platinum, and then I'll probably take a long break with Assassin's Creed. But something about the past couple days, I've really wanted to kind of get back on the Assassin's Creed chain. So we'll do Control. We'll probably start Assassin's Creed Unity here soon. Um, what was it? Oh, I started doing The Last of Us Part 1. I wasn't originally going to get the platinum because originally I think you had to do it on the absolute hardest difficulty, and I forgot what they call it in Last of Us. And I've seen streams of it, and it just looks stupid. Like hard for the sake of being hard. I like hard games. I like games that you got to have strategy, that the combat takes skill. But hard for the sake of hard because enemies are bullet sponges or you can't find ammo. Like that's just annoying. Like that's not fun. And I wasn't going to do it. But looking at the trophy list for The Last of Us, it didn't look like um looking at trophies. Looking at trophies for The Last of Us, it didn't look like anything was tied to difficulty. Um, so The Last of Us Part One was free for PS Plus, or included with PS Plus. I don't call it free since you pay for PS Plus, but included with PS Plus. And so it's like, well, I'm gonna check this out. I just wanna when I downloaded it, I was like, I didn't. First of all, I wanted to add it to my library in case it went away. If it goes away, I'm not sure with PlayStation Plus, but I'm guessing once it gets removed from PlayStation Plus, even if I put it in my library, it'd probably lock me out. But either way, um, and I was like, well, we played the original Last of Us a couple times. The remastered most recently. I haven't played part one. I wanted to see the differences. It looked cleaner. Like, don't get me wrong, but outside of that, it's the same game. I unless I'm like really paying attention to the graphics, I don't notice too much difference. Um, but I'm already hooked again. So I've been playing The Last of Us a little bit. The first game is absolutely incredible. Um, and I'll probably go to The Last of Us Part Two as well. That was a game that if you would have asked me in before this past weekend, I would say I would never replay it again. I liked it. I'm not one of the people that is shit that just shits on it, but I actually really liked the game. But it was so emotionally draining that when I was done, I was like, I don't think I can ever play this game again. And it might end up being that case when I start to play it. When I get to some of the emotional parts, it's like, okay, I don't know if I can do this anymore. But I am kind of looking forward to trying to play it again. So we'll see. I have tried to replay it in the past, and I haven't even made it to Abby's part yet in The Last of Us 2. And tried to replay it twice, I think. I got further the second time. I think I almost got done with Ellie's part of the game. But yeah, I was just kind of done with it. It's so emotionally draining that the story's so heavy. And I understand for the people that don't like it, I understand it's not the best written story in the world. I'm not trying to say it's some masterpiece in terms of writing, but the actual structure and what they're doing with the story, I think it's very solid. And I don't get why people are so upset with it. Well, I do get why, because they're mad that they killed Joel. They're like, oh, why would you kill off the main character of the first game so quick, so unceremoniously? And my argument is always just because he played as Joel, he was not the main character. He never was the main character. The main character's always been Ellie. You just played as Joel. I mean, the story is always centered around Ellie. So, I mean, clearly the main character. But, I mean, Joel is a main character. But the story is about Ellie. The story is not about Joel. Um, and while I was upset, I mean, it legitimately made me feel sick to my stomach. But not because I was so mad at what they did. Just, it's a brutal scene. And seeing a guy that you truly connect with get killed in such a brutal way. Spoiler alert. I guess it's a little late for a spoiler alert, but um, yeah, it's a tough game to play. Um, but it's not tough for me because I hate the game or I hate the story. Because I actually really, really like the story. I gotta be honest, I like the story of the game, second game, more than I like the story of the first game. I think the writing is much better in the first game than the second game, and that's not really debatable. But the story is so much more impactful in the second game. It's so, so, so emotional. Um, and people hate Abby, and I get it, but and I don't like Abby either. I'm Ellie is a top three video game character for me all the time. I love Ellie, um, but I could write a 10-page paper defending Abby, and that's what I think kind of gets lost in the shuffle when people talk about the story is what in a situation like that we're never going to see ourselves in because of zombies or cordyceps, that can affect humans, and they kind of discuss that on the show. But I digress. Um, I um, kind of lost my train of thought there. Yeah, I thought the story was good, but I totally forgot what I was going to say. But I thought it was a better story. Um, you really get to see. Oh, okay, I remember what I was going to say. What it really does that I don't think a lot of people ignore is that just because you follow characters and they're doing what's right especially in a situation like a post-apocalyptic zombie, whatever you want to call it. It's not really apocalyptic, but um, just because you're doing good, it's bad to someone else. And the whole story is based on choices Joel made, and in the first game. And while you agree with the choices in the first game, it really opens your eyes to how that affects other people and people you didn't even know existed until the second game. And I thought it was a very interesting choice and a good choice. Um, I hated Abby's friends. I hated Abby, but I get it. You know, it's and it makes you, if you can not be blinded by your hate for a story because you're mad that they killed off a guy you like, or in some cases, mad that they made Ellie lesbian, even though if anyone paid attention to the first game, you knew that. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm, I get called a homophobe a lot just because my views on life and stuff like that. I have no problem with gay people, but because I support one party, guessing can get what I'm getting at here. But because I'm more on the right side of things, just it's inherent that you get called a homophobe when you say things like I actually I'll be fair. I've never been called a homophobe. I've been called transphobe when I say that trans people aren't real women, or trans women aren't real women, or trans men aren't real men. Get called transphobe. Um, but it's ridiculous with that game. I mean, Ellie was always, um, she was always gay. She was always LGBTQ type person, and that was clear from the very, very first game. And I'm not one of those people that freak out because they throw a gay person into a story. Like, that's just so dumb. Like, gay people exist. They're part of life. They are going to be included in stories. Now, what I do hate is making them gay just for the sake of being gay. Like, for instance, I'm a huge J.K. Rowling fan, and like after all the books were done, and well, it wasn't after all the books were done. I think it was when David Yates was writing for the movie for Six. They put a lot of focus on the relationships, and he had mentioned, or he had either mentioned, or he had started to write a story about Dumbledore. I shouldn't say story, just dialogue where Dumbledore was going to talk about an old girlfriend. That just kind of fit the theme of the movie, because the theme of the movie is relationships in Harry Potter 6, which is weird, and Half Blood Prince. Don't get me started. Actually, you're going to get me started. I'm going to ramble off about this for a while. But and then she comes out and says Dumbledore's gay, and that's fine. Like, Dumbledore being gay, that doesn't bother me whatsoever. But why? I mean, that's inclusion for the sake, and that's, I mean, do what you want. It's your story. And that's another thing when it comes to the Last of Us 2 story. Like, I get people don't like it, and it's fine. You don't have to like the story, but it's not your story. It's Neil Druckmann and whoever you had help writing the story. It's their story. They get to do whatever the fuck they want to it. It's not up to us. If you don't like it, that's fine, but you don't get to demand how he writes his story. And same thing with J.K. Rowling. Like, Dumbledore's always gay. That's fine, but why throw that in there? I mean, I guess that's kind of a bad example, because if in your mind, because she never wrote that in the story, so got to defend her at that part. It was never a part. It's just she just said, in my mind, Dumbledore was always gay, and that's fine. But then it just kind of took a life of its own, and that it just made it seem like inclusion for the sake of inclusion. That's when I kind of have a little bit of a problem in it. Like casting Ariel as a black girl. That's inclusion for the sake of inclusion. Making Rachel Zegler Snow White. That's inclusion for the sake of inclusion. And that's fucking annoying. Um, but yeah, I know a lot of people hate J.K. Rowling now. I will defend J.K. Rowling until the day I die. She is 100% right. Trans people, trans women are not real women. If you want to protect women's rights, trans people are not included in that. And that's basically all she said. But whatever. Anyway, I digress. So I wanted to ramble on about the Harry Potter movies now that I brought it up. And also because I am going to be that's going to be done off stream though. Um, you know, with all these games, some of these games I'm not playing on stream. When I get the platinum trophy, it'll be streamed. Just as proof I got the platinum trophy. But anyway, um, so I am a huge Harry Potter nerd. I literally cannot tell you how many times You can't see me, but I'm doing finger quotes. I can't tell you how many times I've finger quote read the book, and I do that in finger quotes because I listen to the audiobooks. And I discovered a web page years ago. I mean, God, probably 5 or 6 years ago, um, that you can listen to the entire audiobooks for free. And still to this day, like I'm right now, I'm not doing it. I'm rewatching South Park and I'm falling asleep to that. But as soon as I'm done with South Park, I'll probably go back to Harry Potter. I've listened to that book 50 times at least. Um, and what I normally do, I get in these phases where it's like, all right, maybe it's time to do something else. But I'm watching South Park now. As soon as I'm done watching South Park, probably go back to Harry Potter to fall asleep to. I like falling asleep to audiobooks more than TV shows. Um, but what I'll do is I'll listen to all 7 books and then just start over again. And and it's not because I'm upset. I love Harry Potter. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan and I am kind of obsessed. But I don't listen to them on repeat because I'm obsessed. I need something to fall asleep to, and that's the easiest thing for me to fall asleep to because I've listened to them so many times. I don't need to pay attention, and I'll start a chapter. And what's great about this website too is it's not just a constant stream of the entire book. It's broken up by chapters. So each little clip, it's just a chapter. So some clips are 10 minutes, some are 40 minutes, but it's nice. Yeah, I'll just put one on and then fall asleep to it. And because I'm so familiar with the story, unless it's a great chapter, I will just continue where I left off, even if I fell asleep 5 minutes into it. Um, but yeah, I'll go through all 7. When I'm done, start back over at the beginning. I have a few other audiobooks I'll read every now and then too, read in quotes, to fall asleep to. But for the most part, it's Harry Potter. And so I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. These movies, though, good lord. First 2 movies I thought were great. Um, they they did a very good job of sticking to the books. I know they eliminated some stuff. You can't expect them to do everything. They they eliminated some stuff in books, but for the most part, they followed the books really well. And then book 3 happened, movie 3, Prisoner of Azkaban, and it still grinds my gears that they never explained who the Marauders are. The of the Marauders map, they never explained who the Marauders are. And if you don't read the books, I mean, you might kind of be able to discern that from yourself if you really think about it, but they never explain it. So most people that have only seen the movies have no idea that uh, James, Potter, Sirius, Remus, and Peter Pettigrew are the Marauders. Like, I know they call Peter one of the Marauders, so if you're really paying attention, you can pick that up, but they never explain the story. And that's when it started to go downhill, and I was very disappointed about that. But overall, I like the 3rd book. And then it really went downhill in the 4th book. So the 4th book is probably the 4th and 6th book are. I don't want to say my favorite books because the 5th Harry Potter book is my favorite. I know I'm in the minority, but I'll explain that here in a minute. Oh, and by the way, if stream drops, we're just gonna stop talking, and we'll just leave this conversation where it's at. And we'll pick it up next time. But um, So the fifth book's my favorite book. It's actually my favorite movie too. I think they did. It's crazy. I keep getting sidetracked because I could talk about Harry Potter forever. Um, Fifth book is the longest book. Fifth movie is the shortest movie, but I still think they did a very good job with fifth movie. They got all the important points across, and they cut out some things, but what they cut out was understandable and didn't take away from the book or didn't take away from the story. Um, so anyway, so the fourth book though, and I mean, I guess it's technically spoilers, but if you're getting spoiled by Harry Potter at this point, then that's on you. That's not on me. Um, so it starts out. I will say I won't give away anything in case there's some random person that uh, watches this that hasn't seen it, but I will talk about some some stuff. But anyway, the fourth book, the twist at the end of the fourth book is still to me the most shocking twist in any media. I thought J.K. Rowling did a fantastic job of introducing the character, but never making you suspect the character. And anyone who says they can see that coming, I call BS. It's one of the greatest twists ever written, and it's my personal favorite. It might not be the best. I haven't seen them all. Um, some of the other twists. Sixth Sense was a great twist. Usual Suspects was a great twist that I didn't see coming. Um, so and there are probably others out there that I don't know or that I'm not thinking of, but it is my personal favorite twist that legitimately blew my mind. And they ruined that twist in the fourth book in the first 2 goddamn minutes of the movie. It made me legitimately sick to my stomach when I saw that. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Thank God, thank God, I read the book first because anyone who didn't read the book first, they they never will ever get to experience one of the great twists. And I am legitimately angry that J.K. Rowling approved this. The fact that you see the character in the first 2 minutes, and for anyone that read the books, like if you haven't read the books, like you won't know it had been ruined. But it just makes me sick. And then, just in case you weren't paying attention, they do the stupid tongue thing that just is like, oh, in case you missed it, here's the twist. And they do that. Oh, it's like, oh my God, how fucking stupid. So dumb. And it still makes me mad to this day. Um, and because of that, and I have a problem with sixth book as or sixth movie as well. But because of how fourth movie was in regards to that, like I still like the movie. Like the movie itself is fine. I will still watch it. I'm still entertained by it. But every time I see that first 2 minutes, and every time I see the little fucking tongue thing, I legitimately get angry. But it's ruined the entire movies for me. And then the sixth book, I don't think there was anything super shocking other than the death, which, if you don't know, I don't know how, because even people that haven't read the books or seen the movies know about the death, but I won't say the name just in case, but there's a death in that book that was pretty shocking. I mean, I legitimately, I mean, it's a type of death where you can kind of see it coming a few chapters before, and so it's not incredibly shocking when it happens. But if you look at the book as a whole, like when I first started reading the book, I never would have thought that would happen ever. Um, anyway, uh, but what's a big problem with six is, and I had mentioned this, that they focused on the the love lives. Like the theme of the movies was the theme of the movie was the relationships, which was bonkers because in the books, the theme is learning about Voldemort and about his past, living memories. And it was so fucking fascinating the first time. The very first time I ever read that, like, I couldn't wait to get to the next memory about Voldemort. And because they decided to focus on the stupid relationships, which I'll have another comment here about that in a minute, just in general, a general comment, but because they decided to focus on the stupid relationships, they eliminated 75% of those memories and that backstory. And it, that, funnily enough, I can, on the days that I can separate the movie from the book and not try to compare them, it's probably up there among my favorites of the movies. Uh, but when I can't separate, when I can only think about like how they left out so much important stuff, it becomes my worst movie. Second worst. Fourth, no matter what, is always the worst movie for me. That's by far the worst movie because of the fact that they ruined it. Um, but yeah, when I can't separate it, it becomes the second worst movie for me. When I can separate it, and there are times where it's just like, okay, just my mood. It doesn't bother me that they decided to eliminate the most fascinating part about literally the entire Harry Potter story. It doesn't bother me that they eliminated it. But sorry, I put my controller down. I don't even know if it picked up the sound from me talking. I put it down. I was just going on a rant. Wasn't paying attention. But so yeah. So the sixth book, sixth movie, I have a love-hate relationship with. I thought it was very funny. It was a very funny movie, which was kind of nice. But at the same time, it seemed like a weird time to have a comedy movie because it was probably the darkest. It was definitely the darkest book up to that point, and I could probably make an argument that the theme of it is darker than Seven, but it would just be a feeble argument. But I could probably put one together if I really thought about it. And they turned it into some like love, some teen drama comedy, some. Yeah, it was fucking weird. It was just a weird choice all around. And what I was gonna say that I said I'd come back in Johnstone. J.K. Rowling does not know how to write relationships at all. Like every time she talks about the relationships, it's almost like as if she is writing what she saw in some generic teen drama. I just always think when Harry and Cho had a fight in the books, and Harry's like, "Oh, don't cry again. I got too much stuff to worry about. I got too much stuff to cope with." And she's like, "Go cope with it then." And Harry's like, "I will." And it just seems like so cliche. And it's like she really does not know how to write teen romance, which I don't really care about. I don't know how to write teen romance either, but I don't care about teen romance. And it's like, why even include it? Because it's just so poorly written. And then and then she's not good with the relationship aspect of books. And then they decide to focus the movie on the relationships of Ron and Lavender and Ron and Hermione and Harry and Ginny, and it was just awful choice. But book seven, uh, or book seven, movie seven, Deathly Hallows Part One, almost redeemed the entire franchise for me. Movie franchise. I thought that movie was fantastic, and I still think it's fantastic. I think it's the best movie out of all of them. It followed the book well. It got the tone perfect. Um, eh, the the emotional parts of that story in the first. I don't. It's not half because it's probably three quarters of the first book is the first movie, which I thought was a great choice too. Because the first 3 quarters of the book's a little bit slower than the last quarter. The last quarter is action packed, but the emotional parts of the first, I thought they nailed. I mean, there a couple deaths in there. I thought they did a very, very, very good job of making you feel the impact, especially because the character that died because of money and movie restrictions, they basically eliminated from the story after he was originally introduced in one of the movies. And I'm avoiding saying the name, though everyone knows who I'm talking about if you've seen it or read it. But just in case you haven't, and someone comes across this and they haven't read it, I'm not spoiling it. I won't give names. But they basically eliminated the character. They introduced him in the second part because it was second movie because it's crucial to the story. And then because of the cost, I'm guessing, and because he was kind of minor after that, they just ignored him. He wasn't in any other movie until book 7 or movie 7, and you almost forget he's even part of the story, but they still managed to make his death feel super, super fucking emotional. And I thought they did a great job with that. And then we get to book 8, or movie 8. Deathly Hallows Part 2. And I thought they did fantastic until the last 20 minutes. And then I said the fourth movie kind of ruined the franchise to me. The last 20 minutes of Part 8 kind of ruined it for me as well. They, the final fight between Harry Potter and Voldemort in the book is fantastic, is absolutely incredible. You didn't need a big fight scene. You wanted the conversation. You wanted the dialogue. And J.K. Rowling did that beautifully in the book. And just to include some weird special graphics, some special effects of them like merging together during the. I don't even fucking get it, but they absolutely ruined the final fight between Harry and Voldemort in book 8 or movie 8. That it legitimately makes me mad to this day. So yeah, I have a very, very love-hate relationship with the movies, despite being a huge Harry Potter fan. I can't remember what got us on this rant, but anytime I can talk about Harry Potter, I'm going to do it. And so yeah, I'm super excited for that show to come out. But by the way, inclusion for the second inclusion, casting. I can't remember his name now, but the black guy for Snape. I'm trying to keep an open mind about that, but it's hard not to see that as a god awful casting. John Lithgow's Dumbledore, though. If he can, he's getting up there in age. If he can make it to the end of the series, he is great, great pick for Dumbledore. Oh, who else did they cast? I think they fully cast it. Let's take a quick look here while we're talking. While I'm talking to myself, Papa is Sid is I can't pronounce it. Listen, he responded. Yeah, I saw this article when I was looking at the casting. It, it was headlined HBO Harry Potter actor addresses fans' concerns about his casting. I thought it was about Snape, but it's about John Lithgow and his age. Um, yeah, I mean, Oh, but that's not even the concern in this article because he's American. I remember that back when J.K. Rowling initially cast Harry Potter, she wanted British actors, which is fine. Like I have no problem with that. It's set in Britain. You want British actors, that's fine. The only exception was Vern Troyer as Greppuck in the first book. But other than that, I believe. Oh, and Chris Columbus's daughter played a side character. I